furthermore, what the note doesn't really indicate affirmatively that they can't come to a conclusion. It just says that they haven't come to a conclusion through their deliberative process at this time. They're not even asking for one, is what I would say.
People, I told you it's going to be a hung jury.
Exhausted all manner of compromise, all manner of persuasion, and they're at an impasse. This is a
thank you, Jill.
Where
Great handle, by the way.
They only really asked one question, which was to try to get a report that they were not allowed to get.
I told you that cop would make it a hung jury.
They've been working essentially non-stop over the last 3 to 4 days. We're approaching a weekend. They didn't come back with this at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They're at 12 o'clock, and they have nowhere to turn. So our position is the jury should be read the Tui Rodriguez model instruction and go from there.
Okay. All right. So you all know that it is within my discretion. I decide. So a case that has been...
She's on the tape.
It's a long case. This is our 4th day of deliberations, but Tuesday was a short afternoon, maybe 2.5 hours. Wednesday, they left early because of an appointment. Yesterday was also shortened a little bit, and this note arrived with less than 3 hours of deliberations today. So the length of the trial, the length of the deliberations, I know the case we heard from 74 witnesses. There are 657 exhibits. Very complex issues in this case.
The jury instruction
I'm
is
not
not
prepared
good.
to find that there have been due and thorough deliberations at this point. So I'm going to send them back out. We'll bring them in and we'll do that now.
Wow, dude. Wow. See, I'm going over so many things in my mind right now. Like, I'm wondering if she's, if they're hoping that she calls a mistrial. Because we know that's what Bev's going to do. If she doesn't send them back in, she's going to call a mistrial. Do they want that? Why would they want that? So, I mean, listen, I'm confused because I don't fully understand here. But
is the FBI going to start arresting people now? Even that?
Well, that's the thing. If there's a hung jury,
jury?
Then she can either dismiss the case or call a mistrial. And I don't see her
dismiss the case with prejudice.
I don't see her dismissing the case. So
she should dismiss it with prejudice.
So right now, Bev is...
I told you it'd be a mistrial.
They have not deliberated for long enough. Lally wants this ended. Lally wants this ended.
I'm doing this on my cell phone, people.
Right. So, jurors, I'm in receipt of your note. I am writing to inform you on behalf of the jury that despite our exhaustive review of the evidence and our diligent consideration of all disputed evidence, we have been unable to reach a unanimous verdict signed by your foreperson. We all know how hard you've been working. Lunch will be arriving shortly. When it comes, I'd ask you to clear your heads, have lunch, and begin your deliberations again. Or continue your deliberations. All right? So I'm sending you back out.
All rise for the court, please. I mean, okay, so now the jury is pissed off. The jury wants to go home. They're at a deadlock right now, but the jury wants to go
11-1.
So now I would imagine, I don't imagine that it's a split room. I would imagine, considering the evidence or the lack thereof, that there's only one asshole that's holding this up.
All right, so the note has been marked for identification, and we'll see you all either at 3:30 or when you get a phone call.
Maybe two.
Triple P.
Right? So I wonder if the rest of the jury is just going to go back in there and be like, listen, let's just fucking call it not guilty. They fucking should have proved their case better. That's what I'd be screaming and yelling. If I was in that jury room, I would be like, they didn't provide evidence. Like, right here. Look at this right here. Okay? There's doubt there. I'd go over every little thing. I'd go over the taillight, be like, how is there not doubt right there? Look at, how is there not doubt based on the investigator? How is there not doubt based on the 2:27 a.m.? I mean, literally everything in this case is full of doubt. Literally everything. There's no solidified evidence that implicates Karen
He got
Reed.
good
There's none.
questions.
So what I don't understand
Go to his YouTube channel.
is how there's even one person on that jury that can't come to a decision.
He's a cop. He's a Boston retired cop. That's why.
Because I'm not ready to start saying, oh, well, the McAlberts fucking paid a juror, got to a juror. I'm not ready to go there yet.
I am. He's a cop.
Although I wouldn't put it past them at all. I'm not ready to go there just yet. I need information on that. I did not get any negative vibes from anybody on that jury when I was watching them in that courtroom. Yes. Hold on a second. Actually, give me 1 second here. Oh, wait, folks.
Intimidating no one and thinks that they can get away with something like this. And it has been challenging. It is scary because they have all the guns. You know, they have the guns and the gapples, as we say, and they have the ability to arrest anyone they want, clearly on whatever flimsy evidence they want. Whether they arrested me in an attempt to scare me and stop me from reporting on this case, it's failed. The first journalist who's ever been charged with witness intimidation for going up to people and asking them, Jennifer McCabe, why didn't you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m.? Brian Albert, why didn't you come out of your house when there was a cop on your front lawn and first responders everywhere? Why didn't you delete all of your phone calls between each other? Why are you calling phone calls in the middle of the night, butt dials? And people want to know the answer to these questions. And when I go up to them and ask them these questions, I'm charged with witness intimidation. So what is happening in Norfolk should scare the entire media, because the First Amendment is literally ablaze here in Massachusetts. There's a 200-foot buffer zone outside of the court that the judge instituted, in which
that
the
was
thousands
wrong.
of protesters who come here every day must remain outside. It's a blatant First Amendment violation. But ultimately, like I said, it's all going to be validated today with a not guilty verdict, hopefully.
And Aiden, I want to get your thoughts here on really your platform and how you're able to put it out there to the people in free form, raw, and just putting out the facts of the case that you see it. And just tell us just how important a phone like this is to get your message out there and to also keep these live feeds for the supporters going.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like I said, this is my weapon of choice, is my phone, because it can film anything. It protects me. It keeps people from, there was an incident the other day. I went to Canton to do a story on what I believed was a lie by the state police, that they testified that John's Apple Health data showed him ascending and descending 3 flights of stairs at 12:22 a.m. because he was driving, they said, and it was a hilly road. So being the journalist that I am, I went out there and I drove that road and I filmed myself. It is as flat as Indiana. There's no way, and my iPhone did not register any ascending and descending stairs. So I was able to go out there and prove that this police officer lied under oath, Nicholas Carino, about what, in order to show that the phone, you can't, if you're not inside a house, your phone isn't going to show you ascending and descending stairs. That proves John was inside the house. That proves now I have proven that the state police lied about this. So I do stuff like that. And I went out to eat in Canton the other night, and I came out and word was around that I was in town, and the McAlberts were waiting outside, and two of them assaulted me and were arrested for assault and battery. And they think that they can scare me. They think they can intimidate me, and it's not going to work, because this is the most powerful tool I have. If I can put you on video,
people, your cell phones is a good tool.
Who the real bad guy is here. If you're going to do that to me on a Sunday afternoon, sober, in the middle of downtown Canton, imagine what they would do to somebody like, I don't know, John O'Keefe, if he stumbled into a house drunk and got into an argument with them behind closed doors.
And without the platform that independent bloggers have right now, and independent journalists, when you think back to the 50s, the 60s, even before the 2000s, really, when those platforms weren't available because the technology wasn't there, do you often think back to others that, wow, there could be a lot of Karen Reeds out there?
Yeah, oh, totally. I mean, the courthouse where this is being held is where the Sacco and Vanzetti trial was held about 100 years ago. They were two Italian anarchist immigrants who were charged with murder and executed. It was one of the most famous murder trials in American history. And a lot of people believe that they were not guilty. And they were just caught up in a time in which anti-Italian feelings were running strong in this country. And so, ultimately, maybe what would have happened back then? What if Turtle Boy was around back then, and there was the technology back then to go out and show these things? Like, I could not have done what I do without Twitter, without, the internet, without an iPhone, without all this stuff. So like that, and we were just left up to the corporate media, which isn't going to go out and do things that, like, nothing has stopped any reporters from finding the leads that I've been able to uncover in this story. But certainly the advancements of technology have allowed other people to go out there and do the same things that I'm doing, and go on Twitter and post information and have other people discuss it and go and find new leads. And it's been a great advancement for society.
And lastly, Aiden, what are you and the other supporters thinking if this goes to a hung jury?
Thinking that's a big disappointment, and that would be an injustice if that happens, if it goes to a hung jury. And I'm not sure what would happen after that, if the Commonwealth has the energy to do this all over again. It would cost the taxpayers a lot of money. And Michael Proctor, the lead detective in this, who was close friends with the Alberts and texted horrific things about Karen Reed that were uncovered in the FBI investigation into him. By the time this comes around, 6 months from now, if they bring this back, Michael Proctor might be fired. Michael Proctor might be under federal indictment. So a lot could happen between now and then, but at the same time, you don't want to be the district attorney that let a cop get killed in your county and no one was ever held responsible for that. That's a horrible look politically as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will definitely be watching to see if a verdict does indeed come today. Aiden, a.k.a. Turtle Boy, thank you so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox, giving us the insight and what the other supporters are feeling on this Friday. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and some big breaking news coming where the jury says they are hung in this case. The judge is telling them to try to work it out more. That is the news we are getting from inside the court just moments ago. Wanted to bring that to your attention. So again, we are on verdict watch. We'll continue to wait for more updates all right here on Live Now from Fox, everybody. In the meantime, wait for
Turtle Boy
fresh off the presidential debate. We will see energy he has.
People, I told you it'd probably be a hung jury because of that one person who's a cop, a Boston cop, retired cop. So how you know it? I've told you how I know it. So That's pissed me off because of one damn jury person. It's costing your taxpayers in Boston, Massachusetts over $300,000. To me, it's the best interest of your city, county, state that they don't bring it back to court. I hope the FBI, if the judge comes back and declare a mistrial, the FBI should start going and issue those arrest warrants for perjury, corruption, murder, and all that. As I told you earlier in the live stream, the prosecutor and defense had over 3,000 documents from the FBI. And the FBI asked the prosecutor not to take it to court. So that shows me that the prosecutor is corrupt.
I'll go over that later.
So I'm pissed. I told you it'd be a mistrial. But if they come back by 3 o'clock or whatever,
Listen to me. I want you guys to understand something.
I would declare a mistrial. I would dismiss it with
Stream
prejudice.
their content from time to time, but as a courtesy, because they are so gracious with me about that, sister channels who feel the same way about Karen Reed and support Karen Reed, what I'm not going to do is snipe their live stream and stream it as my content. I won't do that. I would encourage you, if you guys want to hear Turtle Boy's opinions and you want to hear them live, then I would direct you over to Turtle Boy's channel and watch his content right now if you want to catch it live. I will go over it later, but I will not snipe his stream. And I will not do that with attorney Melanie Little while she has Mark Betterow on either. Okay?
I would.
I'm not doing that.
So it looks like they're going to have a hung jury, as I predicted. And
I mean, and some of
people,
them don't even mind. Like, Tom doesn't
what
mind when I do it.
what is this world
Tom's
coming to?
literally just in it for,
But the defense should have brought out more reasonable doubt on things. They didn't bring all of that out. The jury instruction to me is
maybe Melanie Little would
screwed
care,
up.
but I've just,
They got one box not guilty.
I would rather direct you
On
to
the other 3 charges, they should say not guilty of all charges.
perfectly cool.
It's confusing.
To be heard.
You either find them not guilty or guilty of them other charges. That shows me the judge is corrupt. It's only my opinion.
Common sense and not book smarts.
Where's the common sense?
That would be nice.
You got to make jury instruction simple, not stupid like this judge did.
I'm not getting into all that just yet. I'm not about
There
to
should be not guilty of all charges. But no, that shows me that judge is corrupt.
I'm not,
That's my First Amendment right as a reporter and a YouTuber.
here I got a special guest backstage.
So
Let's see. What's up, Chasing?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you? Long time.
This is insane.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it would be, right? It's like we called this months and months and months ago, didn't we?
I told you the last couple of days it'll be a hung jury.
They're saying it's much better for a defendant when this happens. So that's a plus, right? Because Lally is going to have to decide whether or not to pursue this.
Right.
And there's no way that they're going to come out of this in a hung jury and his advisors are going to say, definitely go pursue this again. It was...
I believe it. The prosecutor's going to tell him go ahead with it.
Totally. But the thing is like, one thing that we've also seen.
But the FBI told the prosecutor not to pursue that she didn't do that.
I'll probably go for it again. You know, like the fact
People
for it the first time is
put one in the chat
but
if the prosecutor retry that.
at all. In theory, seems to be.
I want to know. Other people who watch my YouTube channels all over the planet wants to know. Put one in the comments if the prosecutor is going for another trial.
The reason why Michael Morrissey wants a win so bad is because if Karen Reed is found guilty, it's going. He thinks it's going to pretty much call the federal dogs off of him. It justifies everything that he's done. He's being investigated for this case, mostly. So, and the way that he handled this case. So, if he gets a guilty verdict, if the Commonwealth gets a guilty verdict on this case, then apparently it justifies all of his actions that have taken place this entire time and why he was being investigated, and the investigation will just go away.
Right.
That's what the
go
defense
away.
believes. So, that's the only thing making me think.
Yeah, if it's dismissed, can they retry it? Well, no, not if somebody steps in and dismisses it because there's she's in effect found
If they
innocent.
dismiss
double
it with
jeopardy.
prejudice.
But if it's a hung jury, then Bev has the responsibility to reschedule that trial, and Lally has to answer right now. Yes, we're going to retry it. No, we're not. And this is something they prepare.
Oh, really?
For
So
in advance.
she doesn't have time, or Lally doesn't have time to answer that? If she's,
I think there's a very specific rule. I want to say it's Rule 2460. Yeah. Okay. When Massachusetts jurors cannot agree, and this is on mass.gov, and it's an instruction. So our Constitution and laws provide that in a criminal case, the principal way for deciding questions of fact is a verdict of a jury. In most cases, and perhaps strictly speaking in all cases, absolute certainty cannot be attained or expected. The verdict to which each juror agrees must, of course, be his or her own, blah, blah, blah. So let's just go down here. I read it a little while ago. When there is a disagreement, those jurors who are for acquittal should consider whether a doubt in their own minds is a reasonable one. If it makes no impression on the minds of the other jurors who are equally honest, equally intelligent, and who have heard the same evidence with the same attention, with equal desire to arrive at the truth, and who have taken the same oath. So then it says, I want to say it said they have to reschedule this within 70 days. So here we go. Restrictions on sending out a jury more than twice. So she already sent them out once. And it says, if a jury, after due and thorough deliberation, return to the court without having agreed on a verdict again, the court may state anew the evidence or part thereof, explain them to the law, to the case, and send them out again further for instruction. But if they return a second time and cannot agree, they shall not be sent out again unless they consent to it and unless they ask the court for further explanation. And they were talking about Tui Rodriguez charge. When the jury prematurely suggests that they are at an impasse, but the judge concludes that the jury is not deadlocked and that a full Tui Rodriguez charge is not called for, the appeals court recommends the judge instruct them using the recommended language, which she just did. She just did all of that and sent them back. So then,
right, I was just going to say, that sounds like exactly what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a requirement for her right away that she has to schedule the next trial. I don't know where I was reading so damn fast when all this was coming down. I'm like, wait, what? They're going to have a hung jury? I wonder if it's several or one holdouts.
One.
I mean, we're never going to know.
I say one.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is just wild, man. Like, the fact that anybody could look at that evidence and be like, yeah, there's enough to say she's guilty. Like, what? I've never seen a case like this that was more like this. Never should have even gone to trial. How is there even one juror that is going, nah, she did it?
Yeah, it says if the jury fails to reach this unanimous or majority verdict after a reasonable time, the judge must declare a hung jury, and the case has to be retried before a totally new jury, which it took long enough to even pick one jury.
I want to side with the defense on every decision. I do. Like that. There's a side of me that wants to do that. But right now, what I'm feeling like is I don't agree with them wanting to end this right here and now. I don't agree with that. But the thing is they're the lawyers. They're the rock star defense team. So there's got to be a method to their madness that we're not understanding. You know,
sure.
That's where my head is at right now.
Let's see. I know that there is a damn time frame. I want to say it's 70 days, but I want to be 100% sure, and then I'll hop off of here. I don't want to take up your time.
No, you're fine. I mean, I got nothing but time. We're just sitting here waiting. You haven't seen me desperately trying to find to fill this content with. Like,
you were doing great with Crazy over there.
You can hang out here all you want.
That was nuts. Why is she even covering this? Go home, lady. You're drunk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah,
I can't believe she's even putting her foot into true crime after what she did to Christian and others' families.
I mean, but can't you, though?
I can.
You know.
I can. Let me not lie. I can. She's such a nut case.
Right. Judge can decide that, but that's the thing is that's a great point that Kelly R is making, and thank you, by the way. She's saying a judge can decide dismissal with prejudice is what we would want. Sure, of course we would want that. But what I'm saying is, why would the defense think that that's what Bev is going to do?
She won't.
They have no indication. There's nothing to indicate to the defense that Bev would do that. You know what I mean?
Because she would have to then look at the reasons that the jury is hung.
Sorry,
say,
a phone
you
call
must
came
do
in,
this.
people.
No, if they come back the second time after, let's say today's finished, they come in Monday, they do a half a day, and they come back and say, we can't come to a decision. That's it. They're done.
That's a great point right there, because that brings me to the question. Who's to decide when enough time? You know, like who's
okay, people, I gotta go. Thanks for watching.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It just